I am Ken Melhorn, and I am St. Paul's Finance Chair. And I appreciate an opportunity to spend a minute or two with you this morning about our upcoming stewardship campaign. Today is early October the 5th. We're on the cusp of a brand new year, 2015. It might seem a little early, but it's still a new year. It means a brand new budget, new ideas, new activities, and new events, a brand new building, and very exciting new members, new opportunities to do God's work. But here on earth, part of what makes God's work so successful is having enough funds to do that work. And that's what I want to spend a minute or two visiting with you about this morning. With a little help from a great finance committee, and after calling upon a bit of my own experience, and with the help of a few talented actors, I think we've put together an exciting stewardship campaign this year that you'll enjoy being a part of. Raising money can be a real drudgery. Not many people like to do it. They don't like to ask. Some people also don't like being asked. So what we've tried to do this year is make the stewardship effort just a bit more fun. So this morning I wanted to share a few of our upcoming campaign highlights, a few of our challenges as we approach 2015. Today I'll clue you into our goals that the Finance Committee has set, and finally I want to share with you exactly what we'd like you to do, what we're asking you to do. So some highlights. We've set up a brief 3-week campaign starting next Sunday the 12th and finishing with Stewardship Sunday on October the 26th. We've asked Pastor Ann and Pastor Sonny to present a special biblically based 3-part sermon series that will also start next Sunday. Each family will receive a personalized letter which will be mailed to you during the week of October the 13th with a commitment card enclosed. The letter will ask you to prayerfully consider and make your commitment to St. Paul's for 2015 and will ask you to be prepared to privately share your commitment on Stewardship Sunday the 26th. Next Sunday the 12th, I'll again take a minute or two after the sermon to briefly go over the commitment card so that you understand its importance and how to complete it. Our campaign theme this year is baseball. In the newsletters and in the Sunday bulletins, you'll begin to see the phrase, "Step up to the plate for Jesus." This is by design. The Finance Committee felt we could make the campaign more fun by talking a little baseball talk when we think of our gifts and our tithes for this coming year. Here's an example. When it comes to our gifts, God wants everyone to step up to the plate and swing for the outfield. But here's the question. Will you be hitting a single or a double, possibly a triple? Or will you just tap out a bunt? Maybe you can reach down deep this year and pull out a homer for Jesus, or even a grand slam. Won't you step up to the plate for Jesus? And in keeping with our theme, we've recruited some of our very own church talent to bring you some of God's messages about money and tithing in a very unique way. I won't give it away today, but here's a hint. You won't want to miss any of the next 3 Sundays. We have some challenges, too, in St. Paul's. Many of you are unaware that our church budget this year is budgeted negatively. That means we're budgeted to lose $4,000. And the main reason for this is that during last year's gifting time, the church finance secretary didn't collect enough commitments. Or, more to the point, enough commitment cards to be able to knowingly balance the budget. We may or we may not have enough money this year to balance. Fact is, we just don't know. Some of our most generous givers simply don't tell us what their plans are. It's for this reason that one of our 2 goals this year is to emphasize the need for each family to complete and return a commitment card. Second, you may not know this either, but most of our church committees and outreach missions have not had an increase in their budgets for several years, and some had to take cuts this year. This challenges us to be able to accomplish God's work at the same level. In 2015, just like in your own households, we're expecting increases in administrative and occupancy costs. That's electric and water and insurance and gas and supplies. And finally, here's the big challenge for next year. Once our new building is completed, St. Paul's will be required to begin making mortgage payments. And we estimate that in 2015, it will take a minimum of close to an additional $30,000 to make those mortgage payments. It's been hoped that the rents from the cellular transponders hidden in our tower would pay most, if not the entire monthly mortgage. But now, after careful consideration, we realize that that rent will simply not be enough. So to offset these challenges and deal with them, the Finance Committee has set two important goals for our campaign. First, we set up an aggressive campaign goal to raise $300,000 in commitments from our congregation in the form of gifts, offerings, and tithes. This amount will cover not only the mortgage service, but will also provide several $1,000s more so that the budget can afford more for our mission and outreach efforts. As a congregation, we need to collectively and corporately commit to this $300,000. It is an aggressive goal. It's a 19% increase over this year. Wow. But remember, 1/2 of that is to pay for our sparkling new worship center. Secondly, we're hoping that each family, if not the individuals within each family, will return their commitment card during stewardship campaign, or not later than Sunday the 26th. So here's what we're asking you to do. 1, pray deeply about what you can do for God's church this year. We know you didn't get a 19% pay increase in order to afford a bigger gift to the church. We know you likely have other commitments as well, but we're asking you to remember God's command that He must come first. So step up to the plate. 2, don't make a quick decision. Listen to the messages that you'll be hearing over the next few weeks. Understand what Jesus and God is saying about what money means. Take a few practice swings. 3, talk openly with other members of your family about your commitment. Ask each member to think about ways to make personal sacrifices that might translate into a few additional dollars for St. Paul's. For me, I can give up a Starbucks once a week. For Malia, she's agreed to give up a chocolate bar. And even our dog has agreed to give up a treat. Paul's on it. And finally, help us plan for our church's fiscal experience next year by returning your commitment card so that we can make plans and hit it out of the park for Jesus. Thank you very much.
Good morning. After having Ellie, Chris and I decided it would be best for all of us if I was a stay-at-home mom. As a young couple, it was hard to keep up with bills and also have enough for food and necessities, let alone activities or vacations. I've always been a bargain hunter and I always shop sales, but it still wasn't enough. It still didn't leave us with much money to save or to even give. It was hard to give offering at church or those begging for a little change without feeling so strapped. So I knew I had to figure out a way to stretch out $1, and that led me to using coupons. I've always prayed to God to just give me a little lift in the direction, and I'll go ahead and take it from there. And always, God has provided. I stumbled upon the show, Extreme Couponing, and tried my hand at it at the local stores. I used coupons from online and in the newspapers, which helped a little, but still not enough. So I prayed again, and once again, God provided. With the help of social media, other couponers in the area, Google, YouTube, and Extreme Couponer websites, I was able to learn how to really stretch my dollar and remain within budget and still have extra money. Finally, I knew I had it down when I went to Walmart, used coupons, and then was paid about $8 and something cents to take 40 items out the door. I've always had the need and want to help the people around me or even overseas, and that was something I always prayed to God for. No matter how little we had, we can always find something to give. Before couponing, it was a bit difficult to give without feeling strapped, but now I can help all the people around me generously. I may not have a lot of money to give, but I've been able to provide teachers with supplies and mothers with diapers and wipes. It's been a humbling experience to help those around me. For me, couponing and God go hand in hand. With 3 kids, it's been a challenge financially. And there have been many times where we really had to trust the Lord to provide. Even through those trying times, God has always shown His presence. I've seen it not only through me, but through my husband and my kids as well. There was a time that Chris went to Safeway for a deal on big bags of Lay's potato chips. With just a little less than $10, he was able to buy 26 bags of chips. On the way home, he saw a man with a sign asking for a little bit of change for food. He already had the intention of giving the man a bag, but instead of offering any bag of chips first, Chris asked him what was his favorite flavor. When the man said barbecue, Chris handed him a big bag of barbecue-flavored chips. The man was emotionally happy and so thankful. As Chris told me that story, I saw the gift of giving gave him a sense of joy. I know this because I have that sense of joy whenever I see God's work. When I go to the store, I make sure to organize all my coupons and bring enough cash for what I plan on buying. This helps me from overspending and buying anything else I don't need at the moment. During one of my many trips to Target, I had a plan to buy 8 tubs of detergent for less than $20. Now, this particular trip went a little different. Miraculously, I walked out with $20 still in my wallet, but with about 26 tubs of detergent and a $10 gift card. Still to this day, I have no idea how it happened. Anyway, on my way home, my kids wanted to eat Jollibee. So we're pulling into the plaza. I see a family of 5 with 2 very small children and a toddler on the corner asking for food. I already knew God had something better planned with the money in my wallet. I was able to buy each of my own family a meal, and I also bought a meal for each of their family members. It's always a blessing to be able to give to those in need, and an even bigger blessing knowing God trusts my family and me to be the ones to provide. Chris and I strongly believe that everything we have in our possession isn't necessarily ours but the Lord's, and it's up to us to give God's gifts to those around us. Before couponing, I didn't feel I could afford to give, but I've learned it isn't always about money or material things. Giving can be just about anything. When I give out to those on the streets, I've also taken the time to ask their names and ask how their day was. I don't do it often since my life is pretty busy, but when I do make the time to just sit and talk for even 5 minutes to someone that needs food or a bit of change, you kind of make a new friend. Being generous is easy. There's always something to give, but being generous with time and patience, that's something a bit different. Couponing has helped my family tremendously. We're able to stretch out $1 by a long way and still have enough to save. With 3 small children and me still being a stay-at-home mom, I find ourselves comfortable financially and even comfortable enough to provide for those in need. We definitely don't feel strapped when we give. When I would pray, there was always something to ask for, but now I find myself constantly thanking the Lord with all the blessings I have in life. He's given my family way more than we need, but so much more to give. My trust in Him has grown, and I find myself even closer to God. I still live a very humble life, but with still more to give. Thank you.